Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Nerd Variety Podcast. Welcome. I am your host, Josh, and I'm joined by the other host. We have Hayden, Roller Derby Rafferty.
What's up? That was my jam back in the day.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, it wasn't. I mean, I liked it. I still enjoy it. It's just been so long, you know? I don't know. But yeah.
Since you went to the roller derby?
Yes.
Or since you did roller derby?
Since I've never done roller derby, but since I've done rollerblading.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then we have Hannah, high diver Hogan.
I'll take that one. That's relatively legitimate.
Yeah. You do a lot of high diving, Hannah?
I've never been too terribly afraid of the high dive.
But have you
I like
done
it.
it?
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I was always the person who just stayed in the pool so long that my feet started bleeding.
That sounds like a bad thing. And
Yeah.
I would not.
Have we not talked
I
about
would
that?
not recommend it.
No, we have not talked about that.
Oh yeah. That's
for another time.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, I was a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
I
you
don't-
should have
yeah.
harder skin.
I
Never
do
mind, we'll
now.
talk
Yeah.
about that later.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be nice. It would be nice to have an adaptation or a mutation to help you
Oh my
with your
gosh.
everyday, to help you with everyday problems or
Wow.
extreme problems.
Wow, the segue.
Yeah, the segue is great.
You can't draw attention to the
Oh,
segue.
sorry.
Hannah.
Okay,
Come
you're right.
on.
Now, what segue? I only see bicycles.
Right? We just talk about stuff
Oh,
naturally.
Wow.
We don't plan things. It's just natural conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So naturally, we're going to, as we do every season, or for the past 2 seasons, we're going to try to sell you a mutation that you could have as your very own. And we will bring our mutations forward and say, hey, guys, you should buy this, and give reasons why. And they will make up their mind, kind of weigh out the pros and cons, and hopefully someone will walk away with a brand new mutation and not have any problems after that.
Yeah. And the other people can definitely play some devil's advocate and say, well, did you consider this side effect or that? And what about this? And hopefully nobody gets mad today. Hopefully anyone's gotten mad in the past. I feel like I've had mild irritation in the past.
I have mild
Okay.
irritation all the time, so
Let's not talk about your mild irritation.
You know what,
Maybe you need a mutation to help that.
Hannah? Rude.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway.
so we will start with Hayden.
Hayden,
What?
is this
Yes.
me and Hannah? Me versus Hannah?
We're not doing verses.
Well, I mean,
Why are
because
you-
isn't
why
that
are
how
you
we've
fighting?
always done
Why-
these?
No, you're going to talk about your mutation that you want to offer me and Hannah to take, and we will let you know how we feel about said mutation.
Okay. I guess I forgot. It's been a while, I guess, since we've done a sales pitch.
It's been a
I guess I
while,
forget-
and 2020 was weird.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
2020 was a long year.
I don't think any of our
Very
brains
fair
are
points.
in full operating mode right now.
Yeah. Well, you know what would make your brain even worse, probably? This first
Oh, what?
mutation. So this is one that I love and I always bring up when talking about superpowers or anything really. But I have what I think is a pretty good explanation behind it, sort of, more or less, as
I'd love to hear it.
solid as I can get. Teleportation. So, of course, me, I am a huge fan of teleportation. I would love to be able to just boop right over there.
Boop.
And yes,
Is that ploof or bloof or
No,
Is
I
a
think it was a
boop?
boop.
it's
Yeah,
a
like
boop.
B-O-O-P, boop.
Yes, exactly.
Like what do you do to a cat's nose? Boop.
Exactly. No, so this one, I wanted to think of it originally like Nightcrawler, because of course I'm only thinking of X-Men for this category because my brain doesn't want to go anywhere else. But of course, Nightcrawler, as you know, it's harder for me to really see that as a mutation because he goes into another dimension and travels through there and then comes back to our dimension. to do that. So this mutation is more realistic, but probably a lot more painful too. So I know I'm really selling it, but
So much.
yeah, I mean, it's for those masochists out there who also want a cool power.
Oh yeah, they love it.
This mutation, it allows your body to basically break apart into very tiny particles that are separate and can move through the air very quickly and reform in another location. And this way, you get to travel basically as far as you want, but you have to, but it's going to be further, or the further the distance, the longer it's going to take for you to get there, because you have to actually still move through space, but you can move much quicker. And so it's kind of risky. You want to have proper material that you're wearing and just a good support system with you to make sure that it works properly. But if it mutates correctly, you can do it really wonderfully, and you don't even have to necessarily see where you're going, but you do have to be able to. You do have to control it while your body has split up into these multiple particles. Yes, Hannah.
Hannah has her hand up, and go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah. My question is, would you be able to travel through walls, or if like there was a sealed concrete box, would you just be like, well, I can't get in there?
So this is where this mutation really shines. You can, in fact, go through solid objects because of the way that your particles are affected through this mutation. They're so small that you get to move through other solid objects by passing through the tiny spaces between those particles.
So that doesn't do any damage to the substances or things that you're traveling through at all.
No, it does not.
Okay. Have you tested this?
We have tested it. We are testing it. We have about a 30% success rate so far, but we are still testing.
Yeah, how can you guarantee that I'm just not going to explode into tiny little bits?
Well, that's kind of the whole point of it, Hannah.
Okay, how can you ensure that I can then reform myself and not just stay exploded?
Well, how can you ensure that I won't just float into space?
Well, this is where it's important to have proper training and proper control over this, and this is why we also are still testing. We're still in the testing phase because some people have a harder time. Some people's bodies don't have as easy of a time finding their way back to the right places that they're supposed to be. But we're still working on affecting the cells in your body so that they learn how to reattach in the correct way.
I don't know. I feel like it would be easier to just rip a portal, tear a hole through space-time, and then walk through it.
Yes, but that's more like magic because that is controlling an outside source, being time or space, and that is not what mutations can do.
So,
very good.
Question. I think about in Harry Potter, if you're apparating, you could accidentally leave parts of yourself behind. Is that a risk that we're talking about here?
Again, that has been known to happen in about 6% of the tested population. So not very often does it happen, but it's definitely possible.
What if historically I can't keep track of my hands when they're attached to my body? Like
then I think you need to see a neurologist.
How much education do I have to have before I can, take this on the road if I were to get this mutation and not immediately die?
Well, so it depends on what you mean by education. If you equate education to training with this,
Yes.
we require at least a 6-week that you attend a 6-week program, just to really master your skills, your new mutation. But we do that in a controlled environment, so that you can't get out of there, or you're not going to accidentally float through the space. And we have people that are trained to deal with any bad reactions in that space. Yes, Hannah, you have your hand up again?
How much faster than being in an airplane is this exactly?
This is significantly faster. It depends from person to person on exactly how long, but on average, it's... So we've tested it, and it takes approximately 2.6 seconds to go like 5 miles. I think that's what our data shows. So it's quite significant. Hannah, are you looking up?
Just let it.
Yes.
There's some number crunching that needs to be done here.
Okay, but you guys were getting on to me about me taking too long, and I have been like rushing through this thing.
Excuse me, I have to get my calculator out for a second.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
all right, that's significantly faster than an airplane. I'll give you that.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Is that what you had to question?
Yeah, I don't know how fast airplanes are in miles per second.
Plus, there's also, it depends on the acceleration, because you continue to accelerate as you go through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take another look at it once it goes through more human trials.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pass around just because the whole already kind of clumsy and my limbs get in my way sometimes. So I don't feel like we need to make that. Like, I don't want to be able to lose a hand accidentally.
Oh,
so
fair enough. And we do not push this on anybody.
Good.
That's very good. All right. Let's see. Hannah, what do you got to sell?
Well, in terms of transportation, I have a mutation that would make it a lot easier to move around in really any type of environment, whether it be urban or rural, which would be wall climbing. Yeah, or otherwise known as wall crawling. And this could manifest in a couple different ways. It could be that you have little barbs sticking out from your fingers. They can help you climb up things. You could have some claws protruding out, right, to help you climb, or you could just be generally kind of sticky, right? We have many options available. I personally think that the little barbs is the best, although it does take some practice. You don't want to accidentally, sometimes you can't figure out how to drop your phone. But yeah.
How easy is it to unstick?
Pretty simple, especially if you have the little barbs. They're more or less retractable, right? But again, it just takes. Well, I mean, yeah.
Do you have to like unhook them from each other?
No.
That's what
think less Velcro and more cat tongue.
Okay.
Yeah, because cat tongues are kind of rough and scratchy.
So
it's like that.
Or the like tiny little, pincers or whatever they're called. Are they retractable as well? Like that, if you have like little hooks on your hands, are they retractable as well?
I thought that's what we were talking about. The other option would be like claws, and those would not be retractable.
Okay, so I'm stuck with long claws to grab onto the objects. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the stickiness, I think, also is like you just kind of generally a sticky person, but you can up or lower the amount of sticky. You want to be more sticky when you're climbing ceilings than when you're climbing walls, and less sticky when you're going to church.
So
is that like a sweat thing? Like, do you have to like get yourself kind of worked up
Think like frogs. Like it's almost more of like a defense mechanism sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
mostly sticky.
I don't know why I used church as an example.
Yeah. So it's possible
Don't be
to
sticky when you go to church.
So it's possible to accidentally get stuck somewhere. That's what I'm hearing, or to accidentally attach yourself to like a desk or something, or just a wall if you don't mean to, right? Like if
but you are significantly like it's a very, very, very low probability of accidentally losing a limb somewhere, and our training course is less than 6 weeks. So.
Okay. But I guess my biggest question is why?
Because it would be fun and fast. So
would it be
you
fun?
would be you don't want to climb up a skyscraper and go sit on the top?
I mean, I feel like I get nauseous pretty easily, and you're saying these things can let go pretty easily. So climbing up a skyscraper with the chance that I may fall to my death at any given point, I'd say I'd rather take an elevator.
They don't retract on accident.
Or teleport. But yeah.
They don't retract accidentally.
But you said they retract very easily.
Yeah, it's easy to put on socks. That doesn't mean I do it accidentally.
And what about, so do you have to take off your shoes and socks if you want to do this? Because,
yeah, does this just work on your hands?
Because if it's just on your hands, then you're just going to be you're going to have to really get some upper arm strength.
Yeah, what if you don't really have upper body strength?
Then yeah, it's on your feet as well. But yeah, you would have to be barefoot.
Yeah, so what about, so I guess you can't wear shoes anymore?
Well, it's not when you're trying to climb walls. You take your tennis shoes and you tie the strings together and wrap around your neck, and then you climb.
And then you choke on your way up. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Attach it to your belt loop.
Also, so doesn't that,
well, if you're
like if that just makes things easier to stick to you, doesn't that significantly increase the chance for you to get sick, like attract bacteria and for that stuff to really stick to your body?
See, that's why I don't recommend the slime version. I feel like the retractable hooks are not really going to be affecting that too much, because you take it back in, you wash your hands, put on some hand sanitizer, you're good to go.
But if it retracts into your body, and if you have those hooks and something gets in the hooks and it retracts into your body, then that's directly into you, and that you can't really wash that off nearly as easily as something that's just on a surface level, because they retract into your hand, right?
So wash your hands first.
But then aren't you sticky? Or I mean, you're slippery. So regardless of how the hooks work, they're going to be slippery. So you can't really climb up anything, right?
I don't think you're going to be washing your hands while you're climbing.
But then if you wash your hands before then.
You climb up the
and
building,
then you
get to the top.
Okay, but then doesn't that still put bacteria that's on the side of a building into your body directly?
No, because then you use hand sanitizer.
But
so
again, the point being is that it's already in your body by that point.
No, you're good.
So you'll have to be kind of like a germaphobe or someone living in a pandemic, keeping hand sanitizer on your person.
Yeah.
Because after you get done with your wall crawling, you have to, better wash up.
Yeah.
Well, again, the bacteria is already in your body once you've been doing that, because it retracts with the other stuff.
No, you sanitize before you retract.
So then you're bringing the hand sanitizer directly into your body. Isn't that also
Trump
horrible?
says it's probably okay.
That's horrible. If he says it's okay, then it means you're gonna die.
What about equilibrium? How does that come into effect? Because if you're like hanging from the ceiling for a long period of time, you might pass out.
Yeah.
Well, then don't do that.
Okay,
and what if you get nauseous easily from that kind of stuff? Like, what if you get all disoriented and you just start throwing up, and then if you get to a weakened state like that, are you more likely to fall?
This is the product for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Just same with walking. If you get nauseous, you're more likely to fall when walking.
Okay. Yeah, but more people get nauseous from heights or being inverted or doing anything like that that's unnatural than just
You gotta
walking.
just know your own limits.
But I don't know my limits from climbing skyscrapers because I haven't done that.
That's
before.
why we have a training course.
Okay. But
I think
you said it's not a very thorough course, so
I said
don't
it wasn't
know.
a month and a half long.
Same thing.
I think I'll talk to my doctor and ask if wall crawling is right for me.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, side effects may vary.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
like it.
definitely.
All right. Josh.
Well, I have a mutation for y'all. Have you ever had the desire to be in several places at once?
You mean like teleporting, basically? Yeah.
That's
No.
one place and then rapidly again another place.
Yeah.
But no, because your particles split up, and so you're technically in multiple places at once.
Yeah, not like that.
No.
Not wanting to be in multiple places at once like that. No.
Not like you don't want to be like that. You want to be consciously in several places at once.
One time I stood on the state line between Georgia and Tennessee.
That's fascinating.
Oh,
Hannah.
wow.
I'm trying to listen to Josh.
Sorry.
Thank you, Hayden. Anyway, but look no further. How about a mutation that allows you to split yourself into several copies? You don't want to go to work one day? No problem. Just spawn a copy, and that copy goes to work for you. You don't want to go to your friend's wedding? Spawn a copy. The person goes to the wedding for you. You have a copy for jury duty, for voting, for cleaning your house. Clones will deteriorate or despawn after several hours. So just plan accordingly. And yeah, you have a good method for being proactive and getting a lot done at once. And Hannah is doing a dance, meaning she has several questions.
I have so many questions.
Sure. Okay, what are your questions? What are your questions?
If I make a copy of myself because I don't want to go to work, why would the other me want to go to work? Why would we not just all end up having a non-productive day together and all encouraging each other to go get fried chicken and ice cream, being like, I want fried chicken and ice cream. I want fried chicken and ice cream. We're going to get fried chicken and ice cream. And that would just be the day.
Well, you as the original would have the willpower to exercise over the other ones, and you would create as you spawn one, you would be okay. I will spawn a clone to go to work.
Have you met Hannah before? Do you think she has that kind of willpower?
No, I haven't. Hi, Hannah. I'm Josh. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Josh. I'm Hannah.
Oh, nice to meet you.
But if I'm instructing my copy on what to do, then that means they don't have free will. So is that really me? Am I going to get noticed that that's not really Hannah? That Hannah's being real weird.
Well, we're not always the same. We don't have the same, energy every day. They could look at it. Okay, I guess Hannah's feeling a little off today, and so they wouldn't be the wiser. They'd just be okay. Well, I guess she's just having an off day. We'll just leave her alone.
But what if I'm off enough to get fired?
Well, that's still a matter of making sure your clone is well informed about what to do at the job.
So you have to inform each clone about how to do what you want them to do? Doesn't that take a lot more time than actually just going and doing?
Not necessarily, because they do have some of your, they do have some of your memories and some of your personalities, so they could exercise those responsibilities on your behalf without, fighting, your will as the original.
So my biggest concern is that this mutation might cause the biggest existential crisis that anyone has ever had.
What are you talking about?
So if you make a clone of yourself, does that clone actually stems from you, right?
It comes from you, yes.
Yeah. And if it has your memories and all that, then how does that make it different from yourself? Are you splitting up your own your own essence to create something new, and then what does that do to you? And then is that an equal person, or is it just like, I don't know, does it have a soul of its own if it's created at that point?
Whoa.
Or does
Mr.
it split your
Philosophy.
soul?
The philosophy major is in town.
I was a film
Philosophy
major.
and, philosophy and ethics
Close enough,
person's
actually.
in town here.
But
it's more of a muted copy of yourself. So yes, it has your memories, and it has maybe like it has enough, it's conscious enough to follow your instructions and to do what you would do in a given situation. But it only lasts a few hours before it deteriorates. And so you have to, of course, you would be responsible about, okay, my clone is going to work, going for a work day. It can, of course, your clone could last, I would say your clone will last an 8 to 10 hours, as long as it needs to be around. Now, the more you have, the shorter the clone's, spawn time is. So you have to be kind of be mindful of, where they go and what they do. Yes, Hannah.
I have questions about this. What did you call it? What did you call it when the clones go away?
Despawning.
Despawning, destabilization,
Yes.
Whatever. What exactly does that? Yeah, deterioration. That's what you said. What exactly does that entail? Does my clone just like poof into nothingness, or does it come home from its long workday like with a melted face and something, and sort of like eventually melts into non-existence?
Do they feel immense pain during this process?
No, they just kind of get drowsy and they fall asleep and then they vanish.
Mm.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm just kind of stuck on this whole thing. Do they take away from my essence? Do they take are they
Your life force?
Yes. Do they take away from who I am, from my life, my essence?
Now,
if you make like 17, you'll be tired.
Well, you probably don't want to make 17. You probably want to make maybe at least, I would say maybe 7 or 10.
Mm.
Maybe
so you
7
said
be
at
the max
least?
I think you meant at most.
Somewhere between 7 and 10, because they won't all last. The more you make them, they won't last as long. And they do like come off of your person. They do start from your person. They do, spawn from your, body. So
If
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, sort of on that point, if they... So are they a new entity, and will they become sentient, or are they sentient on their own and have their own thoughts and feelings? Because they're living separately from me for that time that they are in existence. So isn't it possible for them to gain a deeper understanding of things than I do because they have a different experience for that time?
Building on that, when they disappear, do you regain their memories?
Right.
yes, you do.
You do. But what if
that way it has some congruency between what your clones did and say you decide, oh, I'll go to work tomorrow. Then you'll want to remember what your clone did.
So I might at some point have several days worth of memories all from one day.
Right, and
Possibly.
all most likely brought to you at one moment, which feels like it would be really tough on your mental state, right? Because then you go from having one memory of the day that you lived to all of a sudden having like 10 memories of a specific day that are all different.
You'll want to definitely have maybe some Advil or Tylenol, and maybe just take, maybe have a journal to kind of keep track of everything that happened. But of course, the more clones you make, and the more that those clones do, is more taxing on you.
So one more question.
When you regain, when the clone deteriorates and you regain you reserve the clone's memories back, you get the clone's memories into yourself.
So I have one more question, which is very important to me. If I made 8 clones, would they all last at least like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could make a baseball team. Okay, good.
4 hours.
Okay.
If you had, maybe 2, 3, or 4, that'd be 8 hours.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little concerned about the moral and ethical ramifications of this.
Yes.
But put my name down as interested.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I'll sign up for the email letter.
I'm really concerned about the I don't know. Again, the psychological
Don't worry about it.
toll.
Don't worry.
The psychological toll,
Don't worry about it.
as Hannah said, the ethical ramifications of it, and the existentialism of it all.
And also, I kind of already hate myself, so why would I want more of
just-
me?
Exactly.
But that's why they don't last They don't last they won't last all day.
I feel like
But
I wouldn't get
also-
along with myself very well.
You can
But
enjoy
also,
yourself for a
if-
period of time and then
Be like, speak your
okay,
mind,
they're gone.
damn it.
But also, Josh, if like one of my clones happens to just be in a very unfortunate, horrific accident, then will I have that memory and that pain brought to me as well? And isn't that just horrifying?
You may have a muted version of that experience. You might have a nightmare or two later on, but it won't be as severe as you going through that same thing.
If when you make a clone, you're giving up some of your life force, what happens if one of those clones dies?
Exactly.
Well, then they'll cease to exist, but you'll be fine.
Do you get your life force back, or is there just like a piece of you that's missing?
You get your life force back. You recover. Because it don't, like you have to lose a little bit of you. The clone spawns from you, so that's gonna be a little bit tiring. That'll be a little tiring, of course.
I'm also thinking that there's a possibility one of my clones might not realize that they're a clone and get jealous of, or just get jealous of me and might kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as you're the
It's a whole
queen
prestige thing.
You're the queen ant in a colony, and the clones are workers.
Okay, I'm still not sold on it, but we'll leave it for our own discussion some other time.
Yeah. So, in comparison, or I feel like you guys really gave me a hard time about that wall climbing.
You guys gave me
I know,
a hard
I
time,
know.
so I was going to give everybody else a hard time.
I know. I feel like we
Well,
were
that's what-
not gracious with each other at all.
No,
this
we're
go
not. And I
around.
thought we were changing it up this time, but you guys just came at me with everything you had.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Well, we do have time for a quick one here. Me and Hayden had a similar mutation that we wanted to run by Hannah to see which one she would pick.
Yeah, I kind of want to
Um,
give you each like 60 seconds to present your points.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
I'm gonna start a
Mine-
timer.
Okay. Start timer. Let's go.
Timer. 1 minute. Go.
All right. Y'all remember living in downtown Atlanta, going to school.
Mhm.
You remember getting those emails about people that were getting robbed, getting threatened, and they lose their stuff. But what if you didn't have to worry about, oh, I don't know martial arts, I don't have a weapon of my own. You had mutation of metallic skin. You wouldn't have to worry about people attacking you or injuring you. There's also the added benefit of you using magnets to keep things on your person, so things don't fall off of you. And you can also deactivate this ability at will. It would work for pretty much everything that you wanted to do.
Okay.
I yield the rest of my time.
Okay.
Okay.
Hayden, counter argument.
Yeah. So wait, am I arguing against him or arguing for mine?
You're arguing for yours.
For yours, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, it's just you said counter argument. So,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you're
Okay.
good. Ready,
So
set, go.
diamond skin. Diamond skin, I feel like is a big plus because it is less likely to take any sort of damage than metal would, because metal can still get dented, it can still get hurt, and it seems to absorb a lot of heat, whereas diamond skin is more cool and it doesn't doesn't absorb that heat, and it's basically indestructible. And again, like the metallic skin, you can toggle it on and off should you need to. And it's honestly, this might not be a big point for you, but it's for me. It's so pretty. You get to be so pretty.
Okay, I'm going to ask you each one follow-up question now.
Okay.
My follow-up question for Hayden is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how sparkly are we talking?
Well, you can control as sparkly, or you can control the amount, because, I mean, for me, it's probably like a 12 most of the time, but sometimes I might dial it back.
Because I feel like sparkle levels of 12 is like a weapon.
I don't think you can control that. That's just
Hayden says you can.
You can for this mutation, yes.
You could control like the angles of the diamonds to how reflective they are with each other and stuff like that.
Plus, with this,
your time's up. Your time's up. Josh, my follow-up question to you is: would I conduct electricity?
You could, but not that would be harmful for you.
Okay.
No. You could be a conductor if you once you activated your metallic skin, you could be a conductor.
And then I could be a train conductor, and it'd be so funny.
Yes, exactly.
Or a orchestra conductor. Oh, good times.
Oh my God.
Oh, you have both given me several things to think about.
Choose wisely.
Just think of Butt Stallion.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Hayden, because I wasn't anticipating the answer. You could control the sparkliness, and I think that that's great. Because there are instances where you don't want to be sparkly, and instances where you want to be very sparkly.
Exactly.
And the point about denting metal is a good one.
But still, like, you
conducting electricity would be really cool.
Yes, exactly. But if you're a diamond, you can't control how sparkly you are. You can't control how much sunlight comes out.
No, but you could work on like angles or like clarity could be an issue. Things like that. I did forget about the opportunity for conductor puns, though. Darn it.
Diamonds conduct something, right?
Diamonds are not even the hardest thing.
Diamonds do not conduct electricity.
Well, I didn't say electricity.
They're not even the hardest thing in the world. They're not.
They're harder one of my favorite science things is that diamonds don't conduct electricity.
But they're not that.
I mean, I didn't say they conduct electricity. They conduct something, maybe.
Anyway. I think he wins.
Anyway.
Want to be pretty.
Fine. Wrong crowd. But anyway, that is our sales pitch. We actually had more. I believe Hayden wanted to bring up having wings as a teleportation. Hannah had healing and environmental adaptations. I also had animal manipulation as a mutation. But if you're listening, let us know what you guys thought about the ones we presented to you and the ones that we were going to talk about more. And yeah, that wraps up this episode. What's going on next week?
Next week, we're going to be talking about a show that we've mentioned often because we all love it, called The Promised Neverland.
Right.
We will be discussing, I think, all of the episodes that are out. There might be one more that comes out between now and then. So I'm hoping that Hayden and Josh can get caught up. But we'll be talking about our opinions of that and what's going on. So there will be spoilers next week, just a heads up.
Yeah, can do. But until next week, yes, thank you. And until next week, everyone, nerd out.
Nerd out.